This week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast is sponsored by Pure Creative Apparel. From logo design to specialty clothing to branded merchandise, the team at Pure Creative Apparel can take your ideas and bring them to life. You can find out more at purecreativeapparel.com. And we thank Pure Creative Apparel for sponsoring this week's show. Welcome to the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We feature destination races from across the country. And after the race, we take you on a tour of the best local food and beverage to celebrate. So whether you are an elite runner or a back of the packer like us, you'll know the best places to accomplish, explore, and indulge on your next runcation. Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 66 of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. I'm your host, Amy.
And I'm your co-host, Dana, and I can't let episode 66 go without, making a joke about Execute Order 66.
Oh, really?
Get all Star Warsy.
Okay. Well, we just had May the 4th be with you.
And we've been talking about going to Disney all week, so.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yay.
But welcome.
Welcome. We're so happy you're with us. And we have had so much feedback that we can't wait to get to and share with you. Our Runcation Nation group on Facebook, Instagram. We've had so many contributors, and then people who are emailing us and who are leaving us messages. So we can't thank the community out there enough for listening to the podcast, for giving us some reviews and ratings on iTunes.
Yeah, we got to tell you, it's so nice to see that we're connecting with some people out there that have similar interests. And, sometimes when you're doing the podcast, you're recording it and you're just kind of throwing it out there, hoping for the best.
Yeah.
And it's great. So we can't not thank you guys enough.
Yeah, we're so happy you're with us, and we want to wish you the best on your upcoming long training runs and your races throughout the week. Any kind of shorter, longer runs. It is the summer. And it is getting hotter.
It's not getting. It's
okay,
here.
it's here. It's here.
Hot.
There's just, what I find, for all the time we have lived in Florida, I feel like there is one day, all of a sudden, you walk outside and bam, the humidity and the Florida summer heat hit you in the face. Don't you think?
I do. And that's when you know summer's officially here.
It's here, and it kicked my butt. Absolutely kicked my butt this week in terms of training.
Right there with you.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that about the summertime. I actually say that about the fall. Here, when you walk out, there's the one day a year you walk out and you can literally feel the change in the air. And I don't know if it's a combination of the barometric pressure, the humidity, the temperature.
Yeah.
But when fall gets here, you know it, and it's that one day that it occurs. Summer, it really is the same way, and it's just oppressive right now. And
yes,
and we're not going to complain. Okay, I'm lying.
Yeah,
we're going
to
to complain
complaining
about it for the next 3 months, but
we're complaining right now.
We are going to talk about, over the course of the next several episodes, several weeks, ways that we train around it and what to do. And on those unfortunate days where we oversleep or we don't get, we're not able to train around it and we have to push through it.
We oversleep.
We're going to share that with you as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and anything that you can contribute that helps you combat this, we would love to hear it.
Yeah, and we know the tricks about hydrating and making sure you got enough electrolytes, but other issues or other things you can do to beat the heat, we want to know about.
Definitely. So. And I can tell you, like Jeff, in his note about upcoming really long training runs, he totally said, hey, when you go out there to do your speed work, your quarter miles, your half miles, and you're trying to hit certain times, take time in between each one that you do and pour over your head ice water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or those Dr. Cool towels.
That's actually what I was using. Amy did her speed work.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing it along with her as long as my knee would hold out. I actually had a little incident this week where I learned that, when you get to be of a certain age, just doing things like standing up from a chair can cause an injury. And my knee just decided to get all twingy on me midweek at work. And then I said, all right, I'm going to give this a shot. And I went out and did, what did I get in? Maybe 1 mile?
Close to it.
Close to a mile.
If
then
not that.
I was like, nope, that's it for me.
Yeah.
And I'm resting my knee for the rest of this week. So this is Dana's week off from the running part of the training. I'll still be doing some other training, but
rest and recuperation and healing can be just as important to your training, because if you can't get to the start line healthy, then all of that training just defeats the purpose.
True. So. I don't want to train to be the guy with the best splits at the doctor's office instead of out at the starting line. So
for sure.
So you were doing that, and you were taking your breaks in between each half mile.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, and taking those at least 3 minutes. And he said, at least 3, if not more. And pour the cool water, the ice water over your head and make sure that you're okay. I should have started earlier. I freely admit it.
Yeah, we got started a little late, overslept. It was
common tale.
What, about 9:30, 10 o'clock by the time we got out?
Yeah, and it should have been earlier.
It should have been 6.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Hard to do some weekends. You just don't feel like getting up. The dogs are snuggling with you.
They're snuggling. Do you fall victim of that? Like they snuggle in with you and they're like, Mommy and Daddy, stay with us a little longer. And we did. And we paid for it.
We did.
So, but my times are not what I would have liked, but I'm improving. I talked to Jeff about it. He said, it's a work in progress. And even though you feel like you may not be improving, you are. And just hang in there.
Well, and he has talked ad infinitum about running in the heat and how
you're going to be slower.
You're going to be slower.
Yeah.
And when you're training, you should purposefully slow down.
For those long runs.
For the long runs, especially. So
sometimes long walks, I'm not going to lie, when it's that hot.
Yeah.
So.
And that is what it is. But I mean, you did the mileage.
I did.
You got the work in.
I did all 3 workouts this week successfully. And even though the speed is not there, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Or half marathon.
It's a half marathon eventually. But so I'm going to build up and we're going to get better. And the important thing is to stay healthy, for you to get better, and so that we can get there.
Yeah. So my speed work consisted of 3 half-mile segments ish. I think I tweaked it right on the 3rd half mile and said, no, that's it. My times were okay. Again, the heat, I wasn't trying to really kill it with speed work this week.
Right.
But being injured is kind of a new thing for me. One thing that it's probably driving you nuts is I am more frustrated with myself and trying to push through, and then I'm also trying to be cognizant of not doing that. So
you can't push through. You got to heal.
Yeah. Well, there's a joke. I just saw something this week online that talked about, runners ignoring doctors' recommendations since forever.
Yeah.
And, I understand the urge to do it. I'm making a conscious decision, trying to not follow my urge.
Right.
To just push through and run anyway and, walk it off, so to speak. So
you're going to get better,
especially with a joint injury or joint pain of any kind.
You're going to seek the right medical advice. I know good doctors.
Yeah. Well, I gotta get it. I'm gonna take it easy this week. Got to get it healed. We have too much good stuff coming up.
Oh my God, 10 days.
10 days. We start our first.
10 days.
We run our first virtual race up at Disney. We finally have finalized all of our stuff for our trip. We have
super excited.
Lodging, so we're not sleeping in the back of our car.
So important.
And in doing so, though, over the last 2 episodes, we've been asking you all for input about virtual races.
Yes.
And I talked a little bit about where I came down on it and said, I think that they're a great external motivator for people. If you like bling, if you like memorabilia.
I'm in it for the bling, and I'm in it for the cause.
Right. And then you mentioned causes, which is a really good point, given that so many virtual races sponsor or are in support of charities.
Right. So, but there are different opinions. There are differing opinions. And I guess it's where you live, how you come down, and what your lifestyle is, So we have a few listener feedback messages.
Yeah, we did. We got some emails, we got some messages on social media, and we got a voicemail.
We did. And we got an email with an audio attachment.
Oh, okay.
Yes, from an Extra Mile podcast group member. We're also a member of the Extra Mile podcast group. And Chris Darling sent in an audio message about where he comes down on this whole virtual race thing.
Well, let's see what Chris has to say.
Well, hello, Amy and Dana at Run, Eat, Drink. This is Chris in Virginia Beach with an answer to your question about virtual races. One, I've never done one. Two, to say the reality is I'm just not that interested in doing them. That said, if the cause were something really near and dear to my heart and that was a way to do it, I would gladly do it. But to me, part of the whole race experience is getting out there, being around people, the race environment itself. Anything else is just going to feel like a training run that I paid for. But that's just me. Although, again, if the cause is something that's really close to my heart, that would be something I would consider doing. Anyway, love the show. Enjoy listening. Hope you guys are doing well. See ya.
Well, before we talk about his opinion, I just want to send our thoughts and best wishes out to that community. He's from Virginia Beach.
And he took the time, this was just right around the time of that horrible shooting that just occurred out there. So
in the municipal building. Yeah. And we are just devastated to hear that happened to that community. And we're thinking of them. And if there's any way that we can help them, we are thinking of them and supporting them in this horrible, horrible time.
And I was glad that day, actually, Chris made sure to let us know via social media that he and his family were okay. So,
yeah.
But he's not wrong. I mean, there is no right or wrong answer in this discussion.
There is no, and it's a training run that he paid for, and he's more about the community. Mm-hmm. The community of running and the feeling you get on race day.
Yeah, and I totally get that. It's a totally different feeling. Mm-hmm. If you're going to a race event, the experiential aspect of running is very different than if you're doing a virtual race in your own neighborhood or in a park or whatever.
And if you're alone in that, it's different. I would think that if you're doing a virtual race and you have a running group, kind of like the Tulsa Galloway running group, that it would be a different virtual race experience.
Yeah, you're combining like a virtual race within a pre-existing social circle or social group.
Yeah. So that makes it a little different. But if it's just something you're doing on your own, then it's just like he said, like it's a training run that you pay for. And let me tell you that Suzanne, who we met in Kentucky, who recommended so many great places in Lexington, like Poppy's Mexican restaurant for us. She's also an extra miler. And she also posted pictures of like her Run, Eat, Drink swoosh, and she has been in such a great support to us. And she actually weighed in both in Runcation Nation, and she emailed her thoughts.
And Runcation Nation is our Facebook group. So if you're looking to connect with us there, go on to Facebook. Runcation, RUNCATION, Nation has the Run Eat Drink logo. Check us out. Join us. We love to have you there.
We're small but mighty, and we're contributing and providing more and more in that group.
Yeah, it's starting to grow.
Yeah. So Suzanne's email was like, it went like this. Virtual races are a big nope in quotations for me. I don't really race. I enjoy catered long runs with hundreds of my new best friends. Virtual takes away the catering and new best friends. I have plenty of race tees and medals. If it's a charity race, I'd rather just send all of my contribution to the charity. Signed, Grumpy Eeyore.
Well, again, she's not wrong.
She's not wrong. She's not wrong. I mean, you can contribute to a charity and support. You don't have to run for it, a virtual race. And if you are alone in your training, then it can feel like, yeah, the catering and the new best friends are taken away.
Yeah.
So it's a valid opinion.
Well, and it's a differing one from, I think, what's coming up next.
Yes, and I will tell you, in January, we ran the Key West Half Marathon.
Yes.
And, yeah, it was quite a battle because it was rain delay, rain delay, rain delay. Before that happened, we kind of teased and previewed that we were going to be at that race. And Toby is somebody that we follow and who follows us on Instagram. And she said, hey, I'm going to be at the Key West Half Marathon. And I'm thinking, I'm going to be so slow. Everybody who might know us is going to be done way, way in advance of what I can do, But we're running in the first mile down Duval Street, and she was running right next to me. And I don't know, it's hard sometimes. Pictures on Instagram and then people in real life, and you're making the connections can be kind of hard. But she looked right over to me and she said, hey, Amy from the Run Eat Drink podcast. And I was like, yay! It was the first time that I had been recognized at a race.
And first time we get to meet somebody that we followed and was following us.
I know. It
Very
was a
cool.
Fan of the podcast. So that makes me so happy. Well, she wrote in an email as well. And she says, hi, Amy. I hope you've been doing well. Here is my opinion on virtual races. I have done several of them, including a Disney Summer 5K series. Last year, we did the Incredibles race series.
Yes.
So maybe she did that one, maybe the one before, but Disney always has the great bling that will, just make you say, shut up and take my money. Anyway, back to Toby's email. I think they're great if the goal is to get the medals, but ultimately I think that real races are more thrilling, exciting, all the words that convey that buzzy feeling. I think virtual races can serve a purpose of maybe getting the race jitters out. That's a good point.
That is actually a really good point.
That's a good point.
Especially if you've never done a big race event before. You don't know what to expect, or you're trying to build up to that.
Yeah. She said, I certainly overcame some fear doing the Disney series, just knowing I could push myself to do a certain distance in a specific time. They can also be a great way to raise money for a good cause. Unfortunately, right now, I feel like virtual races have a saturated race market. They've saturated the race market. Moon joggers, gone for a run, yes fit. It seems like people basically pick a cute medal and then sign up for a virtual race to get it. At the end of the day, people are running, so that's good. But for me, it started to give me a false sense of confidence, and I was doing the races for Instagrammable moments only and not for the love of running. Hope you have a great summer, Toby.
And that was something I didn't expect or didn't really think about. Why are you running? And you know what? If you are running for the Instagrammable moments, nothing wrong with that. If that's your thing.
Yeah.
But, if you're wanting to be more of a purist, if you're wanting to do it more for the love of running, I can understand.
Some people use those Instagrammable moments as accountability for themselves. They use social media to hold themselves accountable.
We do.
Yeah. So in Instagram and in race groups, so I can see that. But I also see her point about the virtual race market becoming so saturated.
I will tell you what, it gets to that whole, hey, is my phone listening to me thing? When we start talking about virtual races in the last 2 weeks, I have seen more things pop up in my Facebook timeline from the exact companies that she's talking about. Yeah. Moon Joggers, Gone for a Run, Fit, all over. And I'm like, okay, this is a little creepy. Or they just, their algorithm's just that good. It's figured out what we're interested in looking for. But it's true. Now, that said, there are some great medals. There is some great bling to be had out there. Sure. And I am one of those people. I am a sucker for a cool medal and a nice T-shirt. The very first, I think the first virtual race that we did was the Zombies Run.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's one we haven't really talked about. This is not a paid advertisement. No. I just like the app and recommend it. And if you want to turn your running training into a big game, it's a great way to do it. It's basically you are a runner for a community during the zombie apocalypse. Yeah. And as you run on your GPS, it drops items that you can pick up for your home base. Oh. So it incentivizes you to run, and then you are randomly chased by zombies in the app. So while you're doing this, the whole story that they're telling is unfolding in your ears. It's basically like an audible book come to life. And
don't do it at night.
And you're one of and you're one of the characters. You're Runner 5.
It's creepy if you do it at night.
But they did a pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a nice story. Like, it's a soap opera. It makes you feel like a part of a story.
Yeah, and they had a great shirt. They had a nice medal and some other stuff that came along with it, including their little race bib and some memorabilia that was branded for the Runner 5 type stuff. So again, if it's your thing, great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally see what she's getting at. They're everywhere now.
They're everywhere. They are everywhere. And we also have some Instagram feedback, and we have we have a voicemail.
Oh, we got a voicemail from Rob again.
So you want to do Rob's, or you want to do the Instagram feedback first?
I'll do Rob if I make sure I hit the right button here. So here we go.
Hi, Dana and Amy and the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. This is truck driver Rob out here in Grants Pass, Oregon. And you posed a question, what do you think about virtual races? Personally, I don't see much use in them. I'm running all over the country anyway, so I'm doing different things like that, and I don't need them really to motivate me. However, it's a good way to fundraise all over the country, I guess, because you could run it all over the country. And if you need that to motivate yourself to get out the door, that's pretty good. I would think they would have to be short, like 5K or right around there. I couldn't see a virtual marathon going on, but that's my take on it. I've done a few through some running groups, and I'm like, why am I doing this? We wanted to see your time against other people, and it's like, man, I don't care how I stack up against others, really. And there was no bling or shirt involved in it, but there was no race fee either. I'm fine just picking out a spot anywhere in the United States where I might be and going for a run. But if people like them virtual races and collect them medals and shirts, if they can motivate themselves to get out the door, then that's a good thing too. All right, you guys, have a good one. Looking forward to your next podcast, and we'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Thanks, Rob. And
yes, thank you.
That's it for me anyway. I'm right there with you. If it's what you need to motivate you, as long as you're getting off the couch and doing it, do it.
Yeah. And his point of view is the diametric opposite of Brandon and Taylor Swan, the Dopey Swans on Instagram.
From Instagram.
Yeah.
I see what a segue. You segued so professionally right into the Instagram feedback.
I'm trying so hard. I hope it's paying off. So, yeah, because of his occupation, Rob, he sees the world and he can run all over the place. He's in Oregon. I think he's actually based out of California.
And some of the pictures he's posted just look great. I mean,
some gorgeous stuff. So he doesn't really need to participate in the virtual race series. Whereas Brandon and Taylor say, living in a small state, races are hard to come by. Virtual races allow us to earn some bling while motivating us throughout our training. So
great way to look at it. Not every state's got, an abundance of races.
Yeah. So they use that to stay motivated when you're training for a marathon, when you're training for a half marathon. If you're not a part of a running group, like a Galloway training group or your local running stores training group, it can get isolating or lonely if you don't have somebody supporting and encouraging you. And virtual can be a great motivator.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
you had a couple of more.
Yeah. Sherry, who goes by Runs in a Skirt on Instagram, says, it's always fun to do virtual races. You can do them on your time when it's convenient for you, and you choose themes and causes that mean something to you.
And Bob, who is the user 65 and Dopey.
Yes, Bob is 65 and Dopey, and we met him at the Jeff Galloway 13.1 half marathon weekend in December.
Yes.
It was great, and he participated in one of our podcast episodes for the 5th anniversary thank you messages. Yes. He said, I've done them, but not with Disney. I prefer virtual runs that require proof that you completed the event. He likes the accountability.
And, that's, great. Absolutely valid. Some people are doing it for different reasons. That accountability aspect is absolutely something that a lot of people are going to really go for. And there are races that do require you to submit those proofs of time.
Yeah, in order to get your bling or to get your T-shirt or to get whatever reward they have. Mm-hmm. We don't participate in a whole bunch of virtual races, but this Run Disney Race Series, I think we decided to participate again because I think these medals mean more to us because we are invested in the Marvel universe.
Well, a couple of things, at least for me. Last year was our first time doing a Disney virtual.
True.
And we were so impressed with the quality of the bling that we got. And we like The Incredibles. It's one of their better IPs, I think, that I like seeing the movies.
It's the best Fantastic Four story.
Yeah. So that was what got us into it last year. This year, when they announced it, we are still very disappointed in the fact that they have not returned to hosting the Superheroes Half Marathon out in California.
I know it.
If that ever happens, it's going to be a shut up and take my money kind of moment. We're going to book it. It's going to happen. We're going to that race if it ever comes back.
We love it.
And then when they announced this race series, that's right on the heels of Stan Lee's passing.
Yes.
And on the heels of Avengers Endgame, which was a movie we both loved.
Yes.
And the whole 10 years of the story they've been telling. So it meant a lot to us. So we absolutely were, when this came out, it wasn't even a question.
That was devastating for me.
So
the end of those races in California, Endgame, it was very emotional, all of that. So this race series and these medals, I can't wait to. We don't have the medals actually yet. We have to wait for Run Disney to mail them to us.
Mm-hmm.
But we are doing the 5K in June, and we have decided to make it virtual, but not so virtual.
By actually traveling up to Disney. Mm-hmm. That's going to give us a chance to feature some different food and drink for you guys that is not in our hometown, but is in maybe a destination spot here in Florida that you may be thinking about coming to vacation. I think that this go round, we are going to focus on breakfast. Since it is number one, the most important meal of the day.
And we haven't done that a lot.
And I don't think that we've done a lot of breakfast items on the show in the last couple of years. So we thought, you know what, let's kind of change that up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I think we've picked out a couple of interesting breakfast spots for everyone. And you're going to be really pleased with what you see as far as that goes. And we're still debating the beverage option, but there's a couple of coffee options that I think will be really good. It's just a matter of, can we get over there in time to catch it during the morning rush?
I hope so.
I hope so.
Yes. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for more. That's coming in a couple of weeks.
And I know that we belong to a couple of Facebook groups that actually do run Disney races. So this is nice, especially if you're coming from far away and you want to plan for that and check out some of the newer stuff, or like a classic breakfast option as well. So stay tuned.
But all this talk about food is making me hungry.
Oh my goodness, yes.
We did do an eat segment this week.
We did, even though we didn't travel. And
talk about oddball finds.
Yeah.
The most unexpected find that you could ask for. There is, here in Florida, we're having an explosion of both breweries,
yes,
and food trucks.
And they seem to partner very well together.
They really, those are business models that are really hand in glove. So in this particular instance, this was a food truck that we found that is actually home based out of a gas station here in Cape Coral.
Yeah.
And it's called it is called Hunger Station Mediterranean Food. Mm-hmm. And the truck itself, it's they are transplants from Reading, Pennsylvania. They've just relocated down here about 3 months ago. The folks that were running it were just super friendly.
Oh, they were.
And when you start talking about Mediterranean food, a lot of times you're talking about things like baba ganoush. You're talking about hummus, tabbouleh, that type of thing. Grape leaves, Greek salad. There's so much just delicious flavor. And when you start talking about Mediterranean food, and so much regional difference that you get in the way maybe you'll get a baba ganoush that's prepared by somebody from Lebanon versus somebody from, Jordan. You just get some differences in terms of the recipes.
Spices.
Some differences in spices. And these folks were Jordanian, and they were absolutely killing it with their menu. Their menu had a ton of options, but not too many.
And I think this is the first time that they were at number 3 Craft Brews. That's where we found them.
That's where we found them. They're parked outside of number 3. And number 3 is not a brewery per se, but it is a tap room.
Yeah, it's a tap room. And also package kind of beers and bottles and cans that you can take.
You can take with you. And they'll do growler. No.
You can, I think.
They will do growler fills and packages, as well as what they have to drink on premises.
Mm-hmm. You can chill the bottles and the cans and have it there while you listen to live music, or
which they had
open mic
going.
night, but I think this food truck was so new, and that their truck was just bright green.
Yep, they haven't even gotten all the decaling done yet.
No, like there was no decaling. There was just like they had printed menus posted up on the food truck and on the counter. Mm-hmm. And they were so nice to let us try some things. They did.
We weren't really sure which way we were going to go, and they offered us a sample of the shawarma.
Yes.
You ever tried shawarma? There's a shawarma joint about 2 blocks from here. I don't know what it is, but I want to try it.
I see what you did there.
A little nod to Marvel.
Yes, I mean, this whole episode is like, we're roping it. I like the segue. It's like Marvel, shawarma. This shawarma, oh my God.
This is a spiced chicken shawarma that they did, served on French fries with a garlic aioli sauce.
But they would do that shawarma in like a platter with a pita.
Platter with pita bread, hummus. Mm-hmm. They'd also do it in a wrap.
Yeah. So, but this, they let us try a little bit of that chicken. Oh, the warm spices. Mm-hmm. I can't even begin. And the garlic aioli, it was garlic, but it wasn't overly bitter. It wasn't overpowering garlic. It let those Mediterranean flavors just shine.
I think that a lot of that chicken was primarily chicken breast.
You think it was chicken breast?
I think it was primarily chicken breast. That aioli added some of the fat back into it and moistened it. It was fantastic.
I could have actually had more of the aioli. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could put that aioli on a car bumper and eat it. It'd be delicious.
Yeah.
But the shawarma was almost a curried flavor.
Yeah.
And just, like you said, warm spices, cumin, coriander, maybe a little hint of curry or cinnamon in there.
Maybe
cinnamon. It was fantastic and just juicy, delicious. The garlic aioli was great. The fries gave you that bulk and the starchy.
They were thinner
pairing.
fries.
Yeah, it was like shoestring fries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not like really thick.
Mm-hmm. Shoestring fries, and the portion was enormous.
Oh my God, we split it. And we actually ordered 2 items, and I don't even know if we needed to. But
I'm glad we did.
I'm glad we did because I think, the shawarma was great, but I think my favorite might have been the falafel.
Falafel.
The falafel with pita and that spicy red pepper sauce.
The falafel, if you've never had it, is basically spiced ground chickpeas or garbanzo beans that are usually breaded and fried.
And oh my goodness!
And they served it. We had pita bread, a little side of their hummus, which their version of hummus is very thin, almost like a very smooth, like a great dipping sauce. Mm-hmm. So it's
not chunky,
not chunky at all, and nice and garlicky with a little bit of like a cumin spiciness, smokiness to it, but really good. The falafel, describe that, because I mean,
it looked like. It's not like as round as a hush puppy, but it was like a flattened. It almost looked like a
dome.
Yeah, like a dome shape. And oh my God, the texture of the breading was so crispy, and it was warm and soft inside. It wasn't really smooth like their hummus.
Not at all.
It was chunky. And so good.
Had great bite to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that if you're looking to go more vegetarian in your life, that a lot of people will steer towards Mediterranean. Falafel is a great alternative to meat. I mean, you're not going to fool anybody by saying, "Oh no, you won't even miss meat." It's not going to replace meat, but it's fantastic, and it gives you that toothsomeness, the bite, and the you could call it the umami flavor, I guess.
Filling.
And it's very satisfying.
Yeah. And you need that if you're going to go vegetarian or vegan. You have to find things that are going to give you that feeling of fullness and sustain you.
Well, and chickpeas or garbanzo beans are great anyway.
Especially when you're training.
And then when you're spicing the heck out of them and frying them. I mean, come on.
And this might not be like the healthiest, like, I guess.
Well, you could have boiled chickpeas that's going to be healthier than the fried ones, but
sure. Can I talk about the sauce?
Oh, the hot sauce.
Yeah,
that they paired it with.
It had some bite.
That was almost a chunky, hot pepper relish.
Yeah, relish. It wasn't like a jam, but it kind of
like a puree.
Like a puree, but you could still see the flecks of pepper, and it was almost translucent too. It had some bite,
and that was fantastic. When you got a little bit of everything.
Oh, and the pita was crisp.
It was still flexible. You could, but it had little crispy edges to it because they had warmed on the flap top,
which I love.
Which was
those
really
crispy
good.
Edges, I love that.
So you took your falafel, you dip it in the hummus. That almost acts like your mayonnaise,
I guess.
And then a little bit of that hot sauce, and you just tear some pita off and you eat that.
So good.
Fantastic.
So
Hunger Station's a new addition here in
Yeah.
Cape Coral. Like I said, they've been down about 3 months. They're based out of a Sunoco gas station during the day.
Yeah.
And they are just kind of getting off the ground, and we're hoping to see them out there a lot more because
Yes.
the food is fantastic, and they did a really great job. And we're going to be linking to their Facebook page.
Mm-hmm. They have a Facebook page
in the show notes.
I think that I heard them say that they would be making return appearances to number 3 more regularly.
Well, they're right down the street, so they're quite close.
Yeah.
And the prices, by the way.
Oh.
Prices were fantastic. I mean, the portions we got were huge.
Yeah.
We got out of there with the shawarma fries and the falafel with tip for about $16.
Oh yeah. For 2 people. And that could have been enough for maybe 4 people.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think those fries were huge.
Fries were huge. The falafel was really satisfying. You got plenty of pieces of the falafel. So,
and I'll post pictures too on our social media channels.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job. So we're welcome Hunger Station to the food truck scene here in Southwest Florida.
Happy to have you.
We are. Well, before we go on, I want to take a minute to tell you all about our friends at Pure Creative Apparel. Anybody can silkscreen a shirt. Look, we know it's true. I did it as a project in high school. But the team at Pure Creative Apparel is really much more than that. They will take you through the entire process to create your custom items, right from the very beginning with the design of your artwork or company logo, then create mock-ups to show you what the finished product will look like and help you select just the right high-quality name brand clothing or other merchandise on which you're going to place your artwork or your logo. And then they'll get you your items fast. Or if you're not looking to get into the whole online sales thing and you don't want to worry about inventory, packaging, shipping, and all of that, Pure Creative Apparel has a complete e-commerce package available. So whether you're a school, church, or club needing just a few shirts for a special event, or a company looking for a complete branding package, Pure Creative Apparel can help. Find out how by going to purecreativeapparel.com. And we really thank them for their support of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast.
Well, all that good food makes me thirsty.
And you got to wash it down with something.
Oh, my. So right down the road, just a hop, skip, and a jump, 5 minutes, is one of our favorite places. We have talked about it a lot on the podcast.
We've featured them a couple of times, and we've hosted beer chats from there.
Yes, it's a nice place to have a beer and relax. And if you, we just love to have a beer chat from there.
And it's Big Storm Brewing here in Cape Coral.
Big Storm Brewing, and they have locations in Clearwater and other places around Florida. But we are so happy that they are here in Cape Coral and that they release a whole Belgian hurricane series.
Yeah, June 1st was the day that we went for the beverages and the food and did the run. We're recording now on the 3rd.
And I had, the beer chat that we did live was a little late at night because of my work schedule.
Yes.
So
the reason that we ended up going there, because they are doing this Belgian hurricane series, is because June 1st is the beginning of the actual hurricane season here in Florida.
So hope everybody is prepared.
Yep. Make sure you got your hurricane kits ready, folks. And that hurricane kit should probably include some beer from Big Storm. They sell it in bottles, bombers, and cans.
Yes.
But they do a whole series of Belgians starting with this release. And then every 2 weeks thereafter, they will release the next one and then the next one until they have 5 Belgians that they're offering, Cat 1 through 5.
Yes, because that's how hurricanes are rated.
Yes, and much like hurricanes, the higher the category, the stronger the storm, and the stronger the beer.
The beer is stronger.
So they start out with the Belgian single that we had that is a 5.1% ABV, and then by the end of it, you are north of 15% ABV.
Oh my God. And on their website, when you go to all the categories and you click on them, they give you all the details and they talk about food that they would pair well with. And when you get to the Category 5,
they just skip right to
designated driver.
You pair this with a designated driver.
Pair this with a designated driver, a Lyft, an Uber, something. And you have, there's a card, like a punch card, but they didn't punch it. They initially
like a stamp card.
A stamp card for all the categories. And if you are in the category club and you get all of the releases, then apparently you get a souvenir.
Yeah, they're going to give a souvenir tulip glass, I believe.
Nice.
So very nice.
Probably the right size for Category 5.
Probably so. Now, and this works out rather nicely because I'm a fan of Belgian style beers.
Yep.
Anyway, so tell us, what'd you think?
We likened it in our live beer chat. We likened that to Hoegaarden.
Also a Belgian style beer.
And I don't know, I might like this better than I like Hoegaarden.
Okay.
Because it wasn't overly sweet. It had a stronger carbonation. There are banana and clove notes, and I got less banana in this, I think.
Okay. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for you?
I think it's good.
Okay, so you like the clove more than the banana notes that you get from that Belgian yeast.
And I guess it depends, on that yeast and how much of an impact that has when they brew. But they say it pairs well with lobster, which I'd love to try with that beer. Taleggio cheese, which is like a stinky cheese, isn't it?
I believe so.
But then it tastes great. And orange pound cake. This is the recommendation from their website. So automatically I was hungry and I was like, well, we need to have the beer all over again with all of those food items. But
sounds like I'm going to the store later.
Maybe.
But yeah, they classify this as a Belgian strong golden ale. I would agree with you. Banana and clove notes. I think those are two flavors that are prominent and you tend to find in Belgian style ales. I agree. A little stronger on carbonation than some. I didn't find it to be sweet at all.
No. No.
I would call this a light to medium body.
Yeah, it was kind of cloudy too.
A little bit cloudy. Nice, not so dark. You do get some darker Belgians. This was more of a golden color or yellow.
Yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't so golden, like almost turning to amber. It was not like that. It was lighter, like the sun.
Yeah.
So I would have another pint of it.
Okay.
Do you prefer Hoegaarden or this?
Oh, I don't know that that's really a fair comparison. Hoegaarden is a great go-to Belgian. If I catch it on tap, I like to get it. It's probably more popular and more widely distributed.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll see it on tap more. So I would say for right now, if I were seeing both on tap, I'd probably stick with the Cat 1 only because I know I'm only going to get it during the summer here in Florida.
It's a special release, so you're not going to, there's a limited time, so there's something to be said for that.
Yeah. So that's like, you're trying to make me choose between my favorite child.
Okay. All right. Well, you make me choose. Fair. So there.
Okay.
I like this one. I would have this one as long as it's on.
Okay, well.
And I can't wait to have all 5 at the same, like on the same tasting board or.
Oh, okay. Now,
like
did they say they're going to have all of them on tap at the same time?
Well, somebody in the tap room we talked to, a patron said, wasn't it Misty that said they had them all on tap at one time? Maybe that was in Clearwater. But I'm hoping that Cape Coral actually has them all on tap so that we can have like a flight.
Well, if they do that, then we'll definitely do a beer chat.
Yeah.
To kind of walk people through all 5.
I'll try to make it a little earlier.
Yes. Yeah. A little earlier.
I know.
So.
You all were very patient with me.
Well, so that was the drink.
Yeah.
We went back to Big Storm because of the special release.
Yes.
Check them out if you have access to Big Storm Brewing in your area.
Or if they distribute near you.
Go and seek out the Category 1.
Or if you've had it in the past, let us know what you thought of it. Let us know on Facebook and Instagram, we're Run Eat Drink Podcast, or on Twitter, we're at Run Eat Drink Pod. At our website, we're runeatdrink.net. Runeatdrink.net.
Yeah, and if you go to the website, you can get to everything else.
You can get to everything.
Right at the bottom, we have all of our social links. You can just click on the icon of the social outlet, and it'll take you right to it.
You can email us through our contact page on there. But you can also email at info@runeatdrink.net.
Yes.
Or you can call at 941-677-2733.
941-677-2733, you say?
Yes, I say. I personally can't believe that we're coming up on 2 years for the podcast, the Run Eat Drink podcast. And I think it would be great if these loyal listeners and fans let us know by giving us a rating or review on iTunes.
That would be fantastic.
Or both, a rating and a review.
That would be preferable.
Yes. We've gotten a couple of new ones, but we know that over time, ratings can fall away, reviews can fall away from Apple Podcasts. I keep saying iTunes, but really it's Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts. That's official.
Mm-hmm. So in Apple Podcasts, when you find the Run Eat Drink podcast, give us a rating, give us a review. Let us know your feedback about the show, because we want to continually make it better, and we want to have a great third year of this podcast.
Yeah, we are very excited to keep doing this for you, and your feedback helps us improve. We've bought gear based on recommendations for improving sound quality. But tell us what we can do to make this better, and what we can do to build the community that you want to be a part of. So all that stuff that Amy said about how to reach us, the website, social media, the phone number, reach out to us. But the big thing we're asking this week, ratings and reviews on iTunes. Apple Podcasts.
And Apple Podcasts, I'll get it. No longer iTunes, Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts.
I got it.
So,
I got it.
That's it for this week.
It is. Good luck on your long runs and races and throughout the week. Thank you for taking us along on your commute to work or on your run, walk, run, wherever you're running. We're glad you're with us. And tune in next week.
We will talk to you again real soon.
See ya. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We're having a great second year thanks to your support. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Run, Eat, Drink Podcast. And on Twitter, we're at Run, Eat, Drink Pod. Visit our website at runeatdrink.net so you can click on the iTunes link and subscribe so you won't miss a minute where we accomplish, explore, and indulge. Come along with us. See you next time.